I'm standing here in Branch, isn't that right?
That's right.
And who have I got in front of me?
Gerry O'Keefe.
Gerry O'Keefe.
Yep.
And where were you born and bred, Gerry?
I was born in Great Big Barsway. Placentia Bay. I was. And that little say wasn't a big settlement. There was about 8 dwellings there, I would say. Like my uncles and my parents, and then we had a couple of first cousins built houses there. But eventually then some of them left and went to Placentia and lived there. And they always said when they went to Placentia they were some sorry for leaving Barsway. They were.
And your surname's O'Keefe.
O'Keefe, yeah.
And was there any ever mention about where your O'Keefes came from?
They said they came from Ireland. That's what they always said. That we were Irish names. We were.
And what was your mother's name?
Laura. Laura, she was an O'Keefe, always an O'Keefe.
Yeah.
She was. And my father, he was reared in Barsway too. They had, I think there was 5 or 6 of them, but I remember some of his sisters now, they'd be our aunts. He had 4 or 5 sisters, but some of them moved away and never come back home. They didn't.
And your name is Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, yeah.
And what were your brothers and sisters' names?
Oh, well, I had a brother, Jimmy, Raymond, George, Bobby, and Eddie, of brothers. And you want to know the sisters too?
Yeah.
We had Teresa, and Dot, and Florence, and Rosemary, Ruth. Now we had there was one of them dead before I was born, Catherine. She was a young girl. She was only 12 or something when she died. And there was Rosemary, Madonna, there's another one, and Nora with it. There was a big crowd of us.
Yeah.
But
And tell me this, when were you born?
I was born in 1937.
37.
Yeah, May 9th. I was.
And it'll be your birthday soon.
Yeah, my birthday, yes, it'll be next week, 9th day of May.
You'll be 83 then, will you?
I'll be 83 then, and I feel like I feel about 16. I do.
And you come here to me, you spend a lot of time outside, do you?
I do, sir, yes. I'll get up in the morning, 6 o'clock or 6:30, light in the barn, I don't have no big breakfast now, probably a slice of toast or something. That's all I'll eat in the morning. Come out and I'll stay out all day. Go in and out again, in and out, but I'll also be outdoors. I do.
And tell me this as well, did you do you did a bit of everything growing up, did you? A bit of fishing, did you do anything?
I went fishing one time with my father. I didn't like it, I got too seasick. I went to work then, I prayed to God that I'd get a job in Argentina. And by the heavens I did. I got a job in Argentina and I went there and I stayed there for a long, long time. Then I ended up in Toronto. I did. And then after that then I went back to Argentina. Then I left Argentina again, which I shouldn't have done, and went to Pennsylvania. I had a brother there. He had a dairy farm there. It was the sorriest thing I ever done. That was the hardest work. You were out of bed every morning 4 o'clock. You were. You had 35 cows to milk. Then in the morning you had to wash all their elders and everything before you put the milk machines on them.
Yeah.
And everything. But I'm telling you one thing, it was the sorriest thing. Then they had they had 2 crops of hay they cut, and they had oats and barley and wheat and corn. They did. You never stopped. You didn't.
How long did you spend there?
I went in there, I left my home in Big Bar Street the first week of May. I left St. John's the 6th day of May. And I come out, I think of the week before Christmas. I left Pennsylvania and come down. I had a sister living down New Jersey. And I come down and they brought me out to Kennedy Airport. That's where I come from. I got the plane there, then come into St. John's. I did.
And you came back home then, you married, did you?
Yeah, I came back home then, and I was here living in Branson with my sister then. And shortly after that then I met Lynn and we got married. We did. She kind of tamed me down.
Took your gallop out, you.
Yeah.
And you built the house here behind you, did you?
Yeah.
You built the house. One thing that struck me when I came into your yard, I was admiring your firing or your sticks here.
Yeah.
And will you walk over and show me? Do you stack them like that the whole time, Gerry? Here.
All the time, right, so right on. I'm after, I'd say about 20 years now I'm doing that, or 25 years, like that way. I had a wood stacked here like underground. And when you got rain, it got down in it, and the water, it never dried out of it. Then when you took off the top stuff, already it was dry, but when you get down about a piece, you'd have to saw it up then and stack it in the yard, and let it up for about a month or so to see whether it dry out.
And you know what? My own father, we always stack the sticks like that as well, or the firing like that as well, upright like that.
Yeah.
And did all the old people around here stack them like that?
Some of them did, some of them didn't. A lot of them old people, they wanted to just stack them on the ground.
On the ground, yeah. And tell me this, when you walk up to me there, before I came in, you were chopping, were you?
Yeah.
Come up and show me here. Walk up.
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Yeah.
Now see these ones now, I have different wood there.
Right.
Did you ever hear tell of a juniper trees?
Ooh.
That's I'll show you them here now.
Yeah, show me, yeah.
If you like the same. See these big crooked fellas there, the different rind on them?
Yeah.
See all these? These are junipers there.
Which one are they again? Point out to me.
All these ones, look. Right across.
Are they good burning, are they?
Oh, there's no, you wouldn't get anything better than that.
Yeah.
But you got they're very heavy wood, like when you cut them. Now that's the only way I does them now. I'll cut them and bring them home. I'll cut them and fall them on the ground where they are, and I let them there then for all summer. And then I go back and I take them out of it, take the branches off in September, October. And I brought them home now early the fall. I'll saw them up now in about a month's time and put them in the shade. That's the only place they'll dry off there in the shade.
And would you be cutting them yourself?
Oh yeah.
Cut them yourself?
Nearly every, not all of it there now. The wife bought a couple of those, but then all of this here now, the best part of this now I cut them myself. And what's over on the back, some of them I cut them myself.
And what are you using, a chainsaw?
Chainsaw, yeah.
Yeah. And before, when I came in here, you were chopping there, were you?
Yeah, I was making, with decks, I was making a thing then, stacking more wood. I put stuff on the ground, sticks lying on the ground to keep them up the ground so the air can get in, come up through it.
Yeah. Do you want to show me?
Yes, sir, and then I will.
And you were telling me those ones there, Gerry, they were only a couple of months old, are they?
That's all. Look. You wouldn't believe it how light they're after. When they were brought her, they were as heavy as lead, but You wouldn't believe it how much sun is after not drying them off. Now this is what we call firewood. Firewood is the name of it, but we call it firewood.
Firewood.
Yeah.
Firewood.
Yeah, all these are vars.
Vars.
Yeah. Now these, what would you call them?
They look like a beech.
A birch.
A birch, yeah.
That's what they are, birch.
Like a silver birch, is it?
Yeah.
Silver birch, yeah.
Or a black birch. See, there's different kind of birches. See this fellow here, he's rind.
Yeah.
He's a different. Now this would be called white birch. They're counted rind. This fella, it'd be called black birch. See, different colour of rind on them, look.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me this: where do you get your sticks from? Do you just go into the woods and get them, or?
Go in the wood. I can put my chainsaw on my back, and I'll go that way. For 10 minutes, I'll put the chainsaw down where I'm going cutting wood.
And no one mind you can cut whatever you want.
No. There's only so much by law now you're allowed to cut. I think it's five cord or something.
Yeah.
It is, like by the forestry fellas.
Yeah.
But if you're a little bit over, they don't mind it.
Yeah. And is there many people around burning with stoves anymore?
There is, over on this side now, there is a good many stoves.
Yeah.
That house over there have a stove. The other the man that lived on the big house down there, he had a stove. Our brother-in-law down there, he have a stove. And going over that way, there's a good many stoves.
You were saying oil is popular here now as well, is it?
Oil, yes, and a lot of people have electric heat. But I wouldn't go for electric heat or oil either. I suppose it's in my brain not to do it.
Yeah. You were saying as well that it can dry. It's very dry. You were telling me earlier.
Yeah. What we do with it now. I wish I had the time to show you. What we do is we'll go in the woods. We went in the woods now early the fall, and we cut it down. Took a lot of the branches off of it. That's there then till about September or October. We'll go back then and we'll stack it. Any branches is on it, we'll cut them off and stack it in and haul it home. Then you don't have that much trouble with it in the fall year when you have all the branches off it.
Yeah.
But what we do, like when we haul it down on the ground, up on the tops, we leave some of the bushes on top. That keeps them then up off the ground a piece, then they dry better.
Do you remember the old people collecting the breast knees?
That I do. That I do. When we lived in Big Barsway, every day or every second day you had to go to the beach. About far from this, I'd say, nearly down to the end of the bridge. Go there and get a big armful, especially when she was baking bread. You had to go get it to make a heat. That time there was no stoves then like that. My mother had a Waterloo stove. They were a big bugger, and they were some hard on wood. But I'll tell you one thing, when they got going, they certainly threw out the heat.
And you called it a breast knee of sticks?
Yeah.
And do you know where we called it a breast knee as well? In Ireland, my mother called it a breast knee.
Did she?
That was an Irish word, yeah.
Yeah, they had to be, yeah.
Yeah, breast knee, yeah. And tell me this as well, you didn't cook on the open fire at all here? Did the old people?
No. Not in our times, no. Now maybe before we were born they did probably.
Yeah.
But I don't remember my mother or them doing it.
Yeah.
She had a Waterloo stove, but she'd be making baking bread and that in the summer while the heat coming from it.
Oh, there was no other way to make the bread?
No, there's no other way to make them.
Yeah. And tell me this, did you ever remember your mother, when they be making the bread, did always bless it with the sign of their hand?
Always did. And then She used to make pancakes, and the dough was extra dough.
Yeah.
And frying by they were the best. She put them in the frying pan and fry them.
And Gerry, you were saying to me that when your mother would be finished making the bread, there'd be a little bit left over.
Yeah.
And what would she do with that?
Well, she put it, take it up, and she put it in a pan. Like she'd stretch it out like to make sure. She'd probably, if it was too soft, she'd probably sprinkle a bit of flour into it, and she would. And then she'd take a knife and she kind of separated and she'd get them on a platter, and she'd put them about, I'd say about ½ inch or an inch thick. She would, before she put them in the frying pan. She would.
And so she'd make a circle with them?
Yeah, make a circle at them. She used to make them right round. There'd be some of them just like the top of a mug or something. They'd be so round. She would.
And would she quarter them with a knife? Would she split them?
When she take them up, she would, yeah. Like when they were done, she would. But when she put them in the pan now, she just rounded them and laid them down in the pan. Then she'd flip them over.
Yeah.
From one side to the other.
Yeah. So it was kind of like a pancake, but it wasn't a runny batter. It was more like a dough batter, was it?
Yeah.
You'd be able to mould it with your hands, would you?
Yeah. Well, it really was the dough that she made, that she was making the bread out of. She was. And she catch it, they'd put them in their hands and they'd get it all up, and then on a big platter, then they'd take out so much and make one, then take out more and make one.
Yeah. And she made pancakes as well, did she?
Yeah.
Spin around to here now. She made pancakes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn around here, Gerry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll get the sun on you.
Yeah.
So she made the pancakes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when she was making the pancakes, did she pour the pancake batter or mold it with her hand?
No, I think she used to pour that, yes. I remember something about that. She used to pour it.
Yeah.
She was.
Did she have any name on them little bread yolks she'd make for you? Did she call them potato or farrels or anything like that? Or
Oh God, I didn't know the name, what she used to call them. I'll never think on that again. But pancakes was one, and what did she call them? Oh God, I can't remember. But I know she did call them a different name.
Different name.
Yeah.
Different name. And she always blessed the bread.
Always blessed the bread. The same way when we were kids, before we go to bed in the night, she'd bless us before we go to bed in the night. She would put sign the cross on us.
And how would she do that, Gerry? She just on your foreheads, was it?
Yeah.
So if you were going to bed at night, she'd always put a sign of the cross.
Yeah.
On every one of your.
I'll tell you now, you didn't forget your morning and night prayers with them. That's one thing you did do. You say your night prayers, and then up in the morning, you say your prayers for the day. And she always reminded you. When you grows up and you goes away, always remember you're saying your night prayers and your morning prayers. And we always did.
Yeah. And did she bless you with holy water?
Holy water every night we went to bed, sir. Every single night that we went to bed, she blessed us with holy water. She did.
And where did you put the holy water again?
She always had it in a bottle.
Yeah.
Like, the bottle was kind of a bigger top on it, and that's where she kept it. She kept it in there, in the jar, in the little jar.
And she'd put the holy water on her finger or her thumb, or
She dip her fingers kind of her hands down in it, in her fingers, and she do like that with on you. Often flicked it in my eyes. She wouldn't do it on purpose now.
Yeah. Drowning you or drenching you.
Yeah, drenching you, yeah. Holy water.
And you use the word drench here, would you?
No drench, yeah.
To drench it, yeah.
When people now gets wet, I'm drenched.
One thing that do you do? Your wife was telling me when you take out the axe or the chainsaw, you do something.
I bless the axe, saw, everything I like. If I'm working with something, I bless them. Always do. We were learned that, and I kept it up. I tell you the truth, which a lot of people now don't.
So that axe is over here. Come over here to me. That axe is over here.
Yeah.
The axe is here. Did you use that this morning?
I used that this morning, sir. Yeah.
And what was the first thing you did when you picked that axe up?
Put sand across on it. I turned it up like this. I blessed myself, and then I put sand across on the axe. I will.
And you put the sign of the cross on the sharp part of the axe?
Yeah. Just turn it up like this. Like that, and put sand across on it like that. Well. I always do. I was always afraid of an axe, but I never did cut myself with it. But I guess the sand across keeps you from cutting yourself with it.
And you were saying as well, you also do it with the chainsaw.
Chainsaw, yes, sir. I never starts my chainsaw with it. I put sand across on it. Like if I lay down in the woods, I had it going. I'm after cutting sand across on it. And if I lay down in the woods to refuel it, when I take it up in this hand, then I always cut the sand across again on her.
Every time the chainsaw would stop.
Yeah.
And did you have any close incidents?
I did, so I did one time. I'll tell you now what happened. I was cutting a tree down, and whatever way he jammed, he was nearly cut down. And you believe the heavens, there was a little breeze of wind, but the wind come heavier and took him, and then she hopped back and she took the coveralls, but never took the leg. As God done it, like the coveralls were out like this, but I was quick enough to shut her off. But I got a good fright, I guarantee you.
And you put it down to the blessing?
Yeah.
And is there anything else you do at all, Gerry? Say if you were, would you bless any other tools at all, like any skill saws or anything like that? Or?
That's something I never used. There was a skill saw.
Yeah.
Because I was working in Argentia, and I was up in the carpenter shop where the carpenter was. And there was a man there from Point Verde in Argentia. A nice man, Ben Green was his name. And he was using a skill saw. He did. And a spell ago they had these overhauls, used to call them, but used to come up. And there was buttons on them and straps on the back of them, and he had on a Newfer. And whatever happened, he was using the saw, and the saw hopped. Now it didn't cut him, but it took his overalls and his pants. But all ever saved him, she jammed. She took so much loss, she jammed, and that's all saved him from cutting his leg. And everybody in the carpenter shop thought the leg was cut off him. The way that he never got a scratch from her.
And was that blessed, do you think?
He was a holy man, I must say it was. I never forgot his name either. Ben Green was his name. He's dead down the line years and years.
And he was a man from Newfoundland, was he?
Yeah, Point Verde there in Placentia, yeah.
Placentia, only over the road from you.
No, there was no distance from where we lived in Big Barsway, Point Verde.
Yeah. And I noticed, come here to me, you've got all your blocks all laid out here.
Yeah.
And is that the way you store them up for the winter, is it?
Yes, if I put them in the shed, that's the same way I store them like that. I'll bring them in armful by armful, lay them on the floor, and I build them up, and that'll she nearly goes to the roof inside.
Oh, they go into this shed here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I have for an old wood shed.
Yeah. And I notice you have them raised off the ground here on kind of little legs.
Yeah, I keep it. It's better formed so the air can go in and out through 'em.
Yeah. And behind you, you've got your horse.
Yeah.
You call it a horse here as well, do you?
A horse, yes, sir. That's what we call them. Yeah.
So did you make up that horse yourself?
Yeah. That's after sounds. I like to see it stacked in one pile, but that's after going on that and being sawed up.
Yeah. How old was the old horse?
That one there,
Huh?
I say that's about 10 years old now.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll soon have to repair it now. I'll soon have to build a new one because she's getting down there. Listen.
Yeah. And I noticed you got 2 bars running across her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an idea now. Like when the wood is long, it's all right, she'll come right out and you'll be out here and you'll start off here. But then, let's say this fella, put him in there, then you'll saw him off here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
You will.
So those have got a good practical function, those yokes have there.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Are they on all the horses around? Would everyone have them on their horse?
I think so, yes. You would, yes.
So to get that, the 6 go short, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
That's what it's for. And come here to me as well. You have a little garden here, don't you?
Yeah, I love it. That's where I have my potatoes. That's where I put in my potatoes right there. Look.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Are you setting them yet? No.
No, it's too early. Because if you get a frost on potatoes, then they're gone.
Yeah.
Any amount of frost,
Yeah.
it'll kill them.
Yeah. Do you want to walk? Show me where you put your potatoes. Do you want to walk? Can we walk out there?
Right here, sir.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
This. I'll see another month or so now. I'll be setting them. Now you see that stuff was up down there, that hill.
Oh yeah.
We'll put that on, and I compost they calls it. I keep it up there. Look, I make a bed of it up there.
Yeah.
Put that on it. But last year now they weren't as good. I had a different kind of potatoes. They weren't as good, but the first year I had them there, by God, they were a scenery. Only such 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 beds there.
4 beds.
Yeah.
And so you use the kelp here from the beach behind me.
Yes. But some people now use fertilizer and kelp, but I don't. I'll probably get a sack of fertilizer now a year. And
yeah. And when do you pull the kelp up? Draw the kelp up?
well, you can take it up like September, October, right up through the winter. That's still good then in the spring of the year. It is. You store that up now and you'd smell it in for a half mile.
Yeah.
The old fellas used to call it rotten kelp.
Rotten kelp.
Yeah.
Did you ever call it rack?
No.
Or war, any other name like that?
No, that's all they called it.
Rotten kelp.
Rotten kelp.
Rotten kelp.
They called it that because such a bad smell off it
Yeah.
when you take the top off it.
Yeah. And when would you set the potatoes now?
I'll set them now about probably the middle of this month, middle of May, all according to the weather condition.
Yeah.
If it's warm, it's no good setting them if it's cold.
Yeah. And you put in 4 beds.
Yeah.
4 beds. And did everyone, even your own mother and father and all, they all put in the beds of spuds, did they?
Yeah. My father had a cellar. And when his potatoes was all in that cellar in the fall of the year, you wouldn't have, if you went up for potatoes, you'd have a bucket. And when you go up, you wouldn't have to go down the cellar at all, just kneel on the bed of the cellar and reach down your hands and fill your bucket.
They were that plentiful.
That's how much potatoes they had. Now they had what they call the eating potatoes on one side of the cellar, and on that end side, and this end, then what they were saving the set next year, the spring, seed potatoes they call them, they had them separate. And you weren't allowed to touch them if you got money for it.
And you'd keep the small ones for the seed, would you?
Small ones for the seed, sir, yeah.
And did you ever remember your mother's name? Would you ever split the seed? Split the eyes?
My mother and used to, yes, yeah. Especially when they were going to sit potatoes. They used to call it cutting potatoes, that's what they used to call them.
You'd slice them in half or in quarters? Or
in half, yeah. They'd look at them and see what they used to call eyes on them and little other things. Yeah. And if the eyes wasn't on, they'd cut off the ones with the eyes, and then the other pieces, then they'd throw them away. There were no eyes on because no use to sitting them.
Yeah.
There wasn't.
Yeah, that was the same as at home.
Yeah.
And then, was there any date at all in which you'd have to dig the potatoes here? Was there a certain date?
No, not really. No, a lot of them did about the first or second week in October, because it was getting cold then, and they were afraid of getting frost, and if the frost hit them then, sure, you lost them. And that's the most thing sure they had for the winter, or eating in the winter, was their potatoes, vegetables.
And nowadays, you can go to the shop and buy potatoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I know the fertilizer is way different. There's a way different taste of it.
Yeah.
There is.
And what were the types of spuds that you grew here, potatoes you grew here?
Blue potatoes. And then we had another, I saw them here last year, a red potato. Reds and whites. Now a white potato is about the biggest potatoes that you'll get around here, because they do grow good. Especially if you have enough fertilizer or kelp under them.
And do you ever see your father, or maybe you do it, my own father used to do it, knowing the potatoes be grown, you'd come back when the leaves and all are up, and you'd mould them, we call them, you'd throw more clay on top of them.
What they used to call that shoveling potatoes. I'll tell you what they used to put on them times. You heard tell of the capelin.
I did.
Yeah. We young little fellas go to the beach then, and you'd haul up a pile of capelin, and they'd put all the capelin then on top of the bed, all the beds, and cover them over. They said capelin was good for them, much better than the fertilizer.
And capelin is a little small fish.
Yeah, he's only about a length.
And he comes in
usually in June. It's a pity you're not here.
Yeah.
Last year they come in one time just down the beach down here, Lord God, but you'd walk on them. They were there for about 2 days, washing up on the beach.
Were that plentiful?
Yeah.
You'd walk on them, you said?
But they're not as plentiful now as they were years ago. What happened, I think they opened up the other thing, out on the Grand Banks, or the Russians or the Portuguese, and you wouldn't think it, but they. Now, not last year there was. Now the year before last, there was hardly capelin at all. You had to watch them down the beach to get them.
And come here, so you'd gather the bucket loads of the capelin, and you'd bring them up, and would you sprinkle them on before you planted the spuds?
No. Your spuds would be up.
Yeah.
All the stalks would be up about that high. I'd say it'd be probably the last week of June or the first week of July.
Good Lord.
It was. You put them on it. The capelin would be in.
That's unreal. And the other thing you were telling me as well was that you'd store the potatoes. We call it a potato pit at home. You call it a cellar.
Cellar, yeah.
You have a cellar behind me here, do you?
Yeah.
Will you show it to me?
Yes, sir, and that I will.
Can we go through to it?
Yeah, come on over this way.
Yeah.
Now, There's an old one up there too if you want to see it.
Yeah, show me that one there.
Okay, then come on. There's only just over the hill, huh? Now see this stuff?
Yeah.
I'll mix that now. I'll heat that in with the kelp. Because there's sawdust in that and there's a bit of kelp mixed up in it, but that is really good for a garden. Now them are strawberries. I set some there for the kids when they come out.
Yeah. The strawberries. And come here to me, did you have strawberries when you were a little lad? Were there always strawberries here?
Not when we lived in Big Bearsford, no. The only strawberry we got then was the wild ones.
The wild one?
Yeah, but you wouldn't get no big lot of them. But another berry we got was raspberries. They grew, I don't know if there's either a bush of them here yet or not. But the raspberries now, they grow up in bushes about that high. And there's things on them like rose trees, you know, them speary things.
No thorns?
Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, they're good, that they are good eating. They make good jam.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, we'd get them at home as well now.
Yeah.
Raspberries and strawberries. You have different berries here. You have a bilberry as well, don't you? Or a blueberry? Or no, a hearts?
We have blueberries, there's Patrick's berries, there's raspberries, and then there's another lot he grows out on the mesh in the country. What do they call it? Mesh berries.
Marsh berries?
Yeah. When they're kind of grey when they grow, but I tell you what, they used to be plentiful one time, but now, couple of years now, they're very, very scarce. But my mother used to get them all in the fall of the year, and when she'd be making jam, she'd cut up an apple and put them in with it, and by God, I'm telling you, they used to make some berries, they used to make some nice jam.
Are they a blackberry, were they? No.
No, they were kind of
A grey
a berry.
berry.
But when they started to get ripe, then they kind of turned to a darker colour. So that's all. That's about he's in hard shape now. There he is. Look at him.
That's an old
Cellar.
cellar.
Yeah.
And who did this belong to?
That would belong to a fella by the name of McGrath.
McGrath.
Yeah, the poor fella's dead now.
And
but he's still deep though. There's there.
so, tell me this. That particular cellar, it's got an A-frame roof on it.
Yeah.
And we're up to the level of the roof now.
Yeah.
But you look through that gap there. How deep is it down?
Well, I'd say they used to dig them 6 feet.
6 feet deep.
6 feet deep, mostly. They was.
And was it lined at all on the inside? The walls lined?
Oh yeah, they were lined with things. See these things going in here. These trees in here.
Yeah.
They used to cut things there, what you call studs. They cut them off, probably 7 feet or something.
Yeah.
And do all around the cellar with them.
Yeah. That's probably, we can't get in there now, it says
No, I wouldn't know.
No. And that cellar then was used for storing potatoes?
Potatoes, yeah.
And would it be sectioned off for seed on one side or?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like that there's sticks coming up.
Yeah.
One here and one there and one here and one there. Then they had boards, they put boards on them, then lumber on them to keep them separated, the different kinds of potatoes.
Yeah. And was there a name on them? Did you have a name on them sections at all?
Well, there was one lot, what you call the eating potatoes, what you bring, another one saying
Seed.
For setting the seed potatoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And would you store your turnips in that as well?
Yeah. And cabbage if you had them.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't get frost from down there.
Yeah.
Up and down during the winter when we lived in Big Bearsford, you get potatoes a cold winter's day.
Yeah.
It'd be just like if you're in the kitchen where the fire's at, when you take what they had a hatch
Yeah.
on top of it, a whole big square hole for going down. Then they had a thing made, and you take it up, get down in the cellar.
And tell me this, when you were, say you were wanting to go get potatoes out this now in the middle of the winter, was there a little door there, was there?
Yeah,
A little
there's a door right here, look. See him there, look, he's right there.
That's the little door down. And would there be little steps down into it then, was there?
Yeah, did you see him, this fella?
I saw the door, yeah.
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 He he's locking everything still on it.
And that poor old man is dead and gone, is he?
He didn't answer, yeah.
Dead and gone. What was his name again?
William McGrath.
Willie McGrath.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me this, how did they store the onions here?
Onions.
Were they hung up?
No, some people now put them down in the cellar to keep them warm, or they wouldn't die. Because an onion, so you leave an onion outside, he gets frostbite, he's no good. He ain't. Often, and my father and them, they never grew onions at all, not very much. But if they did grow them, and they had them, they'd put them in a sack, a potato sack or something, and put them on down in the cellar with the potatoes. Like when you wanted onions, then you'd have to go to the cellar and get them.
Like
You would?
Like a potato sack, something that...
Yeah.
Did you ever see him use an old pair of tights or something like that?
No, I never did. No,
Yeah.
no.
Or did you ever see him getting the leeks at the end of the onion thing and plaiting them together and tying them up? No. But
Often they just, I don't know what they were using them for, or
to hang them out the ceiling.
yeah, to hang them out the ceiling they would. But
Yeah.
other than,
What else would you put down there? Would you put your homebrew down there? Some people did it,
some of them old fellas used to have them for
years ago.
They used to put their cabbage down there too.
Did they?
Oh yeah, lay their cabbage on top of the potatoes. If they had any, like when they take up their cabbage, if they had a lot of it, and they didn't want to throw it away, they lay down over in with their potatoes.
Yeah.
It'd never get bad or any, rot or anything.
And there'd be no rats trying to get in there either, nothing.
Well, one time they would sometimes, but say if they come there tonight, then the next night then they go up and they set traps from the next night. They go up next morning, then you head your right in the trap.
Gone. Yeah.
You would.
Yeah. You have your cellar down here as well, don't you?
Yeah,
Gerry?
yeah.
Will you show it to me?
Yes, but then didn't I will.
Do you sing at all?
Me?
Yeah.
I used to one time, sing, especially when I get half on the beer.
What song would you sing?
I forget them. I read old songs years ago.
Yeah.
I'll forget. You forget them.
Did you sing the Tanyard side or By Black Water side or any of them songs or
No.
Tom Tobin's Dickie Bird? Did you sing that one?
I often heard tell of it now, but I never did sing it.
Yeah.
And by God, just Tommy Foley's Dickie Bird.
Yeah.
All the women, when the old fellas be half drunk, they'd be singing and they'd be laughing about it. They used to say, that's a dirty song they're singing.
A right song.
I get a hammer.
Right.
Now, Dorothy, did you see them old weights there now?
I didn't. Hang on there.
Oh,
Oh, aye.
I'd say that's about 100. I'd say that's about the first ones ever come out. It is.
What were they used for, Gerry? For fish?
Or they're for wine stuff.
Yeah. But
Like-
for weighing what though?
Oh, like that time they used to weigh the fresh butter. The people used to sell fresh butter then.
All right.
and everything. I think he still works.
Yeah.
Fresh butter and everything like that.
And did it churn the butter with a, was it a dash churn or an end over end churn?
You know, he's still good, he's back.
Spot on.
Yeah.
And
But churn, I remember my aunt. She had a churn, but it kind of made her wood, like it was shaped down.
yeah.
As a curtain, like to get in there with a big wooden spoon with a handle on it,
Yeah.
and you get in, they stir it up, and it'd make it get right thick.
And were there little pats inside it? Little wooden pats or little, like, the ones I'm thinking of at home, we had one, it was an end over end, and you turned it, and there was a little almost like little,
Oh yes,
a little fan, wooden fans inside it turn. And
yeah.
That'd whip the cream.
They got them, yes, I remember them. They got them then afterwards. I guess when they got a bit of money to buy them,
Right.
they bought them somewhere in St. John's somewhere or something. I remember one of them. We had an uncle and aunt, and they used to make them, make fresh butter.
And the other version was an older version again, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. What was there a name on that?
There was, but I forget it now. No, I'll never think on the end.
I'll get it off you again. Have a think about it again and we'll get it.
Yeah.
And was there any photographs of them churns?
Not that I know for. They used to call them butter churns. That's what they called it.
Butter churns.
Yeah.
And did you ever see, would it be a certain day of the week the women had churn?
Well, when they get enough cream, yeah, they would.
To go out.
To go out and do it.
Yeah.
Then they churn.
Did you ever see when they were churning? They said, say if you call into my house here now and we were churning, you would have to put your hand to the churn or else you take the look of the butter with you.
Yeah.
Did you ever come across that?
No.
Did you ever see him blessing the butter when they make the butter?
Yeah, I've seen mother doing it, and she used to make. Now, one time when there was no churns, I suppose they couldn't afford to buy them. Then they had a big thing, like a big pan, like a large pan. They heaped their cream into that then, and they'd have I guess it was made a big thing like a big spoon, and then they'd stir it up until they'd have their butter made in it.
Did you keep stirring with your hands?
With a great thing like a big spoon of wood, but it was wooden. It was made out of wood.
And it'd eventually come.
Yeah, then they stir it up with that. It worked for them too, I guarantee you. Because a short spoon, so it'd be extra work it'd be.
Mm.
But them long ones, they had long ones. Now they had them about that length. They sawed up.
And were there holes in the spoon at all, or
No.
just yeah?
No.
And who'd do that job?
Well, often done it for Mum and Dad, and she gets hard and us to say, you do it, and she give you the spoon to do it.
Yeah. That's why they used to say at home when someone had called to the house, you'd always have to do it because you get a bit of free labour as well. You say.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you again: did your mother bless the butter at all, or can you remember?
She often did.
Often did.
Oh yeah.
How would she bless the butter, Gerry?
Just like she'd have a bowl there, and then when she looked down, the butter was churned. And she'd put down her hand in and bless it.
Bless it. Yeah.
She would.
The old people at home, my granny and them always said to be afraid that the fairies would take the butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what she said they used to do? When they'd make the butter, they'd always get one little small bit and leave it at the back of the door, and so that'll keep the fairies
For
happy.
the fit right.
Did you have that at all? No.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
No.
have that? No.
No.
Now I remember when we were little fellas in Big Barsway, they tell you not to go in the woods without putting bread in your pocket. Afraid take bread in the fairies to stay away from you. And if we were going away to anywhere by ourselves, they'd make you take a little crumb of bread and put it down your pocket. But we used to laugh at it. We didn't believe anything about the fairies.
But you did it though, did you?
Oh yeah, yes, we had to do it, sure. You had to do what they told you.
Did you ever told as well you'd turn your pockets inside out or take your coat off?
That's another thing, yeah. Yeah.
At home, they said if a man got lost in a field, you'd take your coat off and you get over it again. How did your version go? Why would you turn your coat inside out?
I never did, I tell you the truth. Some people said it was unlucky to turn your coat or your stockings. Well, I often see the old people, if you were putting on your stockings,
yeah,
and you put on one and then put on the other one wrong side out, they'd make you take it off. They wouldn't allow you to go up to the door. They say bad luck.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Well, you ever told if you get up in the morning now and you put your t-shirt on inside out?
Take it off.
Take it off.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to go with back ways.
Yeah.
That's what they used to call it. You have the t-shirt on or your shirt on back ways.
And what was the thing about the fairies with your jacket inside out? What was that? What did you hear?
What was that? Yes, a jacket. But if you had... Now they never allowed you to go to the door with anything on wrong side out. Like this.
Yeah.
And the jacket and bread in it, in the pocket, and don't have it wrong side out.
Something like that.
They said if you put it on wrong side out and bread in it, the fairies to take you and take the coats. but I don't know if that was true.
Yeah. Did you ever hear of any stories of anyone being taken with the fairies?
There was a man in Ship's Cove, 3 miles from us. They were playing cards over there in the night time. But that time, there was no bathrooms or anything in the house, what they called outhouses. Mm-hmm. And this old man, he was pretty old, I think, and he got up and said he had to go out to the toilet. And God, they were waiting, and when they went out, he wasn't there. And they looked, and oh, by the Lord heavens. And everything then along in the area went looking for him the next day, and they found him up on a river, way up on the head of a river. He didn't know how he got there or anything, but they always said the fairies took him. They did.
And did you ever hear of any stories of a child being taken? Or a baby?
No, not in that area, no. But my mother and father one evening, they had a big garden, but they had it a good piece away from the house. And when they left home to go over to the garden, it was right out for the ocean. But when you go out to the middle, there's a big hill up there. And the father said, where's the youngsters to? And Mom said, I don't know. But when they went over there, but they weren't there too long, they were looking at the garden. And up on the hill, there was the nicest sound of music and the laughing and getting on, the way they were getting on. And father said to mother, I thought, he said, Laura, you said the youngsters was over on the other side of the place. And she said, they are. And they always said that's what it was, fairies. It had to be so there was no youngsters to go up there only for there was 4 or 5 of us, then we were way over on the other side of the place. And all them youngsters were home, and we were playing over there. But that's what they always said, it's fairies. They said it was the nicest music, and they all, but you couldn't make out what they couldn't make out what they were saying. Like you could hear me playing, they all talking and laughing.
You'd get that at home now, the same thing again.
Yeah.
There'd be spots. Were you ever told as well there'd be a spot where you wouldn't go cut a stick? Be bad luck. He said the sticks wouldn't burn, or you weren't meant to go there.
They thought and heard father and them say about that, yeah. Well, you couldn't cut a stick of wood there, don't go cut a stick of wood there, or a stick of wood there. It'll never dry out, and you'll never have any luck with it. So, it must be something had to do with the fairies or something.
Did you ever hear of anyone who didn't meddle with something that they weren't supposed to meddle with, and they'll get bad luck? Cow will die, or...
Yes, I remember my father saying, they always use it, don't curse on top of anything, or anybody, you'll always have bad luck for it. He said, you'll never have any good luck again. Like if you curse on this thing or that thing, or curse on another person.
You get no luck.
No, you get no luck for it. That's what they believed in.
Did you ever see your mother and them doing it on All Souls Night? Did they believe that the dead came back that night? Do you have that story?
Yeah, I remember Mum said that, don't go out tonight, this is All Souls Night. And we used to say to her, why? She said, honey, the souls may be around. So we were so young, we didn't even know what a soul was.
They said that the day is for the living and the night is for the dead. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that's live and the day for the living, night for the dead, yeah. They said the ghosts to come back, the people to come back in the night time.
Yeah.
They wouldn't come to die.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
My mother wouldn't. Yeah, we always put a candle in the window on All Souls Night. That's what they did in Ireland. A lot of people did, and they felt that the souls came back. One thing that my mother said they grew up with as well: you'd never throw out water on All Souls Night, dishwater.
No, that's another thing. That's right. I meant to say that the dishwasher. They say never throw out water on All Souls Night. They would. We wouldn't either. We'd probably go up if we threw it, go up and get under the bed or something.
We was told it come back in your face.
Yeah.
Did you use that term? Come back in your face.
Come back in your face. Yeah.
You'd wet the souls.
Yeah.
My mother said when they were throwing out water, even on any night, not on All Souls Night, they'd always say, hug of the teapot jack, she'd say.
And
Did you have a little saying at all if you're throwing out
No.
water? Not like that, no. That was Halloween, that was All Souls Night.
All Souls Night, yeah.
Yeah.
But they had us little fellas said you were afraid of your life then All Souls Night, you wouldn't go out, that's for sure. You wouldn't.
It'd have you in bits.
Yeah.
And we was ever told as well on at Christmas Eve, if you went out in the yard, all the animals would all be down kneeling.
Oh, that's, yes, another day. Yes, we'd say 12 o'clock, they'd say, 12 o'clock midnight, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Don't go to the barn, don't go to some people used to call it a barn, and more people call it a stable. And they'd say, don't go to the stable at 12 o'clock Christmas Eve night. You'll be struck dead. And sure we wouldn't go then, that's for sure.
And you were warned not to go.
Oh, we were warned, they warned us not to go there, 12 o'clock, Christmas Eve night. And we were always anxious to try to go there, but you weren't allowed. If you did do it, then you wouldn't do it next Christmas, I guarantee you.
And were you told that the animals were kneeling down?
That's right, they said that. Don't go there because the animals will kneel down and stay for about a minute or two and then get up. But however they knew that, I don't know.
Were you ever told the animals to be talking? To be given the gift of speech at 12?
Yeah, they say, I remember my father saying that whoever, they probably got a grandfather now or some of them.
What did he say, Gerry? He said what?
They say the cows would be talking, and what was that they'd be talking about? No. But I know that they say the cows would be talking, whatever.
At midnight on
Midnight,
Christmas Eve. By the Lord.
They say well, they were kneeling, they kneel down, and they stay down for so long, and then they get up. But don't ever go in the barn 12 o'clock Christmas Eve night.
Yeah. Were you ever told on Easter Sunday morning to get up and see the sun?
Then sun dancing, I guarantee you. We did. We used to leave Big Barstring go up the hill way up on the high ground. And my God, one Sunday morning we went there. I was flying something like this morning right there. And she was dancing too. And she was coming out of the sky.
On Easter Sunday morning?
Yeah.
By the Lord God.
Mm.
The young people don't do that now, do they?
No, they'd laugh at you. They would. They don't believe men like that now.
Yeah.
They don't.
Will you show me your cellar?
Yes, sir.
Come on, we have a walk at it.
But some of these old people, you know, they were very religious. They were.
Yeah.
And some of them weren't. But the robin red, he's looking at.
What do you call that bird?
That's a robin red, a robin.
A robin red.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different bird than our robin now. A robin red.
There's lots of years up there now. You know.
Were you ever told that if a bird came into the house to be a sign of a death? Did you have that?
Yes, I've heard my father saying, right, sign of a death, a bird in the house. Yeah.
He said that?
Yeah, it'd be bothering him. But sure, then after a spell after that, then all that was forgotten about. Then they got them budgie birds and
Yeah.
there's the seaweed that we set the.
That's your CV.
Now you root that out, for there's some smell of that. Oh,
Would you use the term to root the spuds out?
yeah.
To root them out?
Yeah.
To
You
root 'em out.
use a little thing, you get a little thing,
Yeah.
a turn on it.
Yeah.
It would just, if you use the shovel and then you cut them, them old fellas then they'd watch you if you got a potato then. They'd make roars at you to tear them over on the other side.
Did you ever hear the old people call them prates or praties?
Potatoes they used to call them.
What?
Taties, some of them used to call them. They would. They wouldn't call them potatoes. Come on now, it's time to go dig the taties.
Potatoes.
Yeah.
Potatoes. I noticed as well, come here to me. There's different trees and all here. Did you have sallies here?
No. Them old fellas wouldn't set a sally tree. They set a sally tree. What they'd say, he said one time, there was some sort of sally tree inside for presented that way somewhere. And whoever saw it, the priest told him to take it up. And he wouldn't do it. And I think they had a son. Now this, I suppose is true.
and they had a son. He was up somewhere in central Newfoundland, and he said, you'll have bad luck. And the next day his son got killed or something up in central Newfoundland somewhere. And they always said never do anything like that.
Never plant a sally.
No, never from plant a sally tree. The priest, they said the priest went to her and she sat it when she was setting it. And the priest told her not to set it, but she ignored him. But she lost the son anyhow through, and they always said through the means of it, that's lost it.
And you call him a sally tree here.
The sally tree, yeah.
And do you ever hear other people calling him a willow?
There's people, I heard of willow, but I never knew that they were called that for the sally tree.
Sally tree.
Yeah, with the sally tree.
Yeah, sally tree. Yeah, that's what we'd call him as well, a sally.
Sally, yeah.
We walk over and see your cellar.
Yeah, right this way.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, I'll probably get in with the hammer and everything. I keep afraid the children get in first.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to say that's a saying too they had.
What was that?
Set a sally to flag your family. The old people used to say. But I forgot about that one now. That's what they say. Set a sally to flag your family.
And were you ever told it was bad luck to hit an animal with a certain type of a tree? Like at home, that said you'd never hit a child, which you wouldn't want anyway, but years ago they said you'd never hit a child or an animal with an alder.
An alder or no, I never did. No.
No.
But the old fellas, they wouldn't even allow you to cut an alder.
Would they not?
No, I don't know why now. They never told us why.
And would that be your own family back over the way in?
Yeah. You were. You done what they told you to. Well, this is a good hammer, right?
Right. So the old people always told you never to cut an alder.
Never, why? I don't know. Never cut an alder. Let them there. Let them grow.
Let them grow.
This old settlement had these days. There's more stuff in here than enough. So there, that's the way they're done, no?
That's it. And you've got planks there.
Yeah, that's what they call the bedding of the cellar. Yeah. That's I was like that. I was putting these studs down here. See these ones here? That's what they call the studs.
Yeah.
And I had them just about all in there. And I told you about the rocks falling down. I got up. I was just up here and the whole studs and everything, ground all fell that way. If I had to be down there, I'd be half covered in.
So underneath that, where the lawnmower and all is, it's about 6 foot down.
Well, actually, I didn't put him down 6. I put him down about 5 feet.
5 feet.
But the old people used to put him down about 6.
And you years ago you were in there and it fell in on you, was it?
Yeah, that's about 10 or 15 years ago, I'd say.
Jesus. And who built that cellar, Gerry?
I built it myself.
You built it yourself?
Dug it out, pickaxe and shovel, and built it. I did. I wasn't too good at carpenter work now, but I managed it anyhow.
And you made the whole yoke, the felt and all?
I got the felt in on the roof and tar, put tar on it, what you call tar. I find this is good for storing away stuff because put in the old shed up there, that's full of old junk and stuff. I'm going to do some work on that here.
Yeah.
So fields are going in.
I noticed behind you you've got some more beds here.
Yeah, them are, I said beets in that fella there. And that fella down there sets onions in them. I'll tell you now, onions grow some good down there too. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the old people calling them ingins?
Onions, yeah.
Did they call them an ingin?
Yeah, and they say, "Give me a onion." They say, a onion.
Get me a onion.
Yeah, sometimes they probably couldn't pronounce the onion, and they say a onion. A onion, they say.
A onion. And would they say the word ingin? No, or
No.
they wouldn't say ingin. No.
Now see these here, now,
Yeah.
these things. Remember the berries I was telling you up there about?
Yeah.
Raspberries.
Yeah.
That's what the raspberries grows on them, look.
Yeah.
All them now come back to life spring, look.
Yeah.
They're little, you can see coming on them already, look.
They're budding.
Yeah. The little spears on them, look. Just like a sharp beard there, look.
Yeah. And would you use the word, say if you got a scrab of them?
Yeah, often did. I often got them in my hands, and there'd be a job to get them out.
Yeah.
Them little thorns on them.
And you'd use the word scrab here, Gerry, would you?
Yeah, scrub, yeah.
Like you scrab the eyes of your
Yeah.
cattle scrab, yeah.
Yeah, I'll scrub the face of
Yeah. I think we better let you go and get on with the rest of your day's work.
No, I'm in no hurry. No hurry at all. I have all day from this now till dark.
All right. And tell me this, there's lovely words that you would have used here that we would have used at home, and I'm thinking you'd use like scrub, you use breastney like for the sticks earlier on.
That's
Yeah. You'd use. Did you when I see that piece of wood there? I'm thinking of a kisheen or a kersheen. Were they stilts? Were they?
That's right. They made them for walking or something. They did.
Did you have them as a child?
No, I never did, but I did hear them. Kisheens or something like that they were. That's what they made them for, is walking. Like, especially if you were going away in the woods or something, or rough walking. A kisheen, yeah.
And they were like a stilt, was it?
Yeah, say something like a stilt, yeah.
Yeah. Should there probably be words you'd have that you probably can't remember now, haven't heard? Like the words your mammy would have used or father would have used?
They used some queer words.
Did they?
Yeah.
Do you ever remember any of the words that would have used queer words?
No. They used some queer words.
Would you use the word fernent?
No, I never did hear that one, no.
Oh, down there fernent someone?
No.
No, that wasn't used your way.
That is right, yes, yes. Oh, yes, but they did use it, sure. Fernent, yes. I remember it now.
You go down there and it'd be fernent dailies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out fernent me.
Yeah, Fernent, that's right, yes.
Yeah. And what word did you use for a haircut years ago?
Hair trim.
All right. But did you use the word to get your hair cropped? Or cropped?
No, we never did, no.
No.
If we were going get a hair trim or a haircut or sometimes the old fellas say get it chopped off.
Chopped off, yeah.
Yeah.
You were scalped.
Scalp doesn't know scalp. You get scalped now for the summer.
Did you say scalped or scalped?
That's scalped. They used to call it scalped. You say you get the hair now scalped for the summer.
You get scalped, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. To be awful old words years ago, and the young people aren't using them now, are they?
No, never. Very seldom.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. The other one, what was the other one? Oh God, there's another word we used to laugh at.
A little word your mother and them had, was it?
Yeah.
Did she ever tell you you'd be driving them up the walls?
Right. Yeah. You're going to drive me up the wall today if you don't go out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say get out from under my feet?
That's not get up from under my feet, right, yes.
Yeah. Would you say when you'd want to call a fella, would you say, come here to me, or come here, I want you?
Yeah, yeah.
What would you say?
I'd say, come here, I want you. That's what we'd say, come here, I want you.
Come here, I want you.
Yeah.
And did you ever hear one thing as well, say someone would be, someone would have a bit of a nerve to call into the house, and you say the gall of that lad.
Oh yes, that's right, yeah, yes. You have some gall. You have some gall to ask for this, or gall for me to go do that, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you're getting tired? Do you want to?
No, I'm not, no.
No. But sure, I can call to you another day. We get up another day. Give a break. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but them old people used to, I don't know, they used to, half the words seemed to be saying you wouldn't know what to be.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Did you ever hear any little old rhymes that didn't make sense? Little old nonsense rhymes? Little old words that say, or... No one would be calling out someone in a game. Would you be picking, like, no, eeny, meeny? Would you any other name and little things like that you'd say?
No, I never did, no.
Oh. No.
Mm.
Yeah. Come here. I think I'll let you go, and I'm going to call back to you again, and we'll have another chat. Would you be up for that?
Yeah, okay, okay, fine.
And we can chat about other things then.
Yeah, no, I'm in no hurry today, but I have all day.
All day.
I have.
Yeah. I see behind you actually there when you're the headlands ahead behind you, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And there was a rock over there, a big rock where you used to go. What was that called, eh?
That's what I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Hazer's Rock.
Hazer's Rock.
Yeah. Well, usually they call it the Hazer's Point, but people don't call it the Hazer's Rock. That's he's there in the water there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you didn't like fishing at all? No interest in it?
I didn't. That's why I had liver like catfish. I didn't.
They were like that, yeah. And you were saying some of the boys had put a cross on the boat, you were telling me earlier.
Yeah, always did.
Yeah. Cross the boat.
In fact, some of them old people used to have a little jar of holy water in their boats. They'd have a little nail or something, and a little bit of line tied on the neck of the bottle, and they'd have it in their boats. And if you touched that, then you'd always remember it.
Because they'd ate you.
Yeah, they would, yeah.
And you know where I come from in County Wexford? That's the same tradition as well, a little bottle with a little tied with a piece of string.
Yeah.
And in our case it was always up the front.
Yeah. That's another up the front, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you went in, you were young and they were older, yeah. And you stay down here and let them people go up front. Up front, yeah.
Up front. But the little bottle of water, was your little bottle of water put up the front of the boat?
Yeah, right in the front of the boat, yeah. Always.
Always.
You wouldn't put it down what they call the steering of the boat.
Yeah.
No, I always put it up in the front. It is.
Because that's the part to be hitting the water.
Yeah. That's right. She'd go on the seat and she'd be dipping up and down.
Will we call it a day?
Okay, so it's up to you.
We call it a day, or we can go. We go inside and get a cup of tea.
Yes, come on in to have a cup of tea.
That's what we'll do. And we'll go back to you again.
That's my surveying mark earlier when we had surveyed.
Yeah. Oh, for the line.
Yeah.
Keep it all plumb.
There very thick pine tree.
It is.
Linda bought him in St. John's Bio not, I said about 5 or 6 years ago. Now I'm telling you, he's after doing some growing. Now he's not going to be, he's going to grow tall. He's very, very big. There's great buds on him, look. I see this big fellow here.
Yeah.
That's what we call a fir tree. Yes. Now he come up there. Now he must have come, the root must have come from that woods there, no? And he come up there by itself, because we never set him there.
Oh, they come up by the root.
Yeah, yeah,
Send them up.
yeah. Another fellow there, that's the spruce. That's what they call a spruce tree. There's different shapes in them and different other things, branches on them.
Spruce tree.
This is a little spruce, this fellow here. I saw him there.
Yeah. That's what you'd use for a Christmas tree, isn't it?
Yeah, they're just the nicest smell of it.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, that's what you call a spruce tree.
And what tree would you get the turpentine or
That's him there, come here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you some of him. They used to put that on cuts and everything years ago. Turpentine there, and it's really good too. Over here, show you, look. In there, look. These fellas, look. Oh,
Oops. Squirt out.
yes, they just got in your eye. The smell.
Oh, yeah.
That's turpentine, they call it.
You call it turpentine, is it?
Turpentine, yeah,
Turpentine.
yeah.
And it blisters out.
Blisters out in another fella there, look.
Oh, I see it.
No, he's thick, that fella, look.
And what would you use that for a cure, Gerry, would you?
If you cut yourself when you were a little bit, they put that on the cut, and you know something? I'm not exaggerating, but it used to cure it.
Good Lord.
It was. And another thing they had, if you got sore feet, if your feet got sore, they go to the ocean and get salt water and boil it and make it use it on your feet, and it used to cure it. That's what. Like if you had all your feet getting sore, salt water,
You'd boil it.
boil it, yeah.
And when you'd boil it, then what happened? The salt would come out, would it?
No, the salt will be still in it. Then they put it in a pan for you,
Yeah.
and you soak your feet in the pan. Put your feet down in the pan when the water cooled off. Did it? Well, they really believed in that.
And we's ever told as well, and the snow that had fallen in May, you'd use that for sore eyes.
Sore eyes, yes, sir, we often did.
Did you?
Yeah, put it in a bottle. When if the snow to make, they'd make you go out there in the morning before the snow go and get a jar that's good for sore eyes.
And did you do that?
That I did, often.
The snow that had fallen in the month of May.
Month of May, yeah, yeah.
And did you ever see the old people going out and washing their face in the snow when the first snow would come or anything like that? Or?
No, never did, no.
Do you ever remember years ago the old people that have cures for warts?
Yes, they put chalk on them. Some of them, you know, that chalk could be in the school, they often in the school. Some of them put that on them. They say put chalk on it and they take away the warts.
You'd put the chalk on the wart itself?
On the wart itself, yeah.
Did you ever see him putting a mark on the back of the stove to count the amount of warts in your finger?
That's according to burn off, then the water burn off.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I remember that too.
How did that go? Can you tell me that? How your version of that?
And it cured some people. It did.
Yeah.
Although now I never had a ward, I'll tell you the truth. Now some of our youngsters did have them, but they certainly cured them. They used to, my mother, another thing, the salty water, they said salt water out of the ocean. Like, bring it home and bathe it in salt water, you cure 'em. And I don't know if you're or the water was just gone, but the water be gone after they used it for so many times.
And can you tell me again though, how did the wart one go with on the stove? How did that one go again? What would you do? Say if you had a wart on your hand.
What they do, they'd have chalk. You know the chalk used to be in school? And they put it on the stove and kind of hot it, and then they'd rub it on the wart.
Alright.
They would.
And did you ever see them putting marks on the stove with their fingers on the black? No.
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 The only thing ones I did see it, it's chalk.
Chalk on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put the line across.
Yeah. Home, my grandmother always said you get a snail and rub the snail on the wart, that'll get rid of the wart. And you get the snail, then you stick him onto an old thorny bush then, and you kill the snail. And when the snail will wither away, so would your wart. That was what they had.
What did
yeah.
they?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
But they used to call a snail a shelly pookie or a pookie snail.
Did they?
Did you use that word? No.
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 No. I didn't.
Didn't. You were getting your deck cold.
No, well, no, I'm not a bit cold. I have a good heavy jacket on me.
Yeah.
But that time they used everything. Like iodine, I hated iodine. I put that iodine on you and that it sting. But they cured you, I can guarantee you.
Sure, there was no doctors around you.
No, not that time there wasn't. Sure, you were afraid of a doctor that time. You were.
You'd be afraid of a dentist as well.
Oh, well, didn't I use a dentist? Yeah. I used to say, Mom, no, I'm not going to no dentist. You pluck it out, get a bit of thread and put it on it and pluck it, and now comes the tooth.
Did you call your mother and father Mammy or Daddy?
Mommy and Daddy, yeah.
Mammy and Daddy.
And what that time then, if they passed you something, you wouldn't say just thank you. You say thank you, Mom, thank you, Father. That was it. And if you didn't say that, you probably got a smack in the back of the neck or something if you didn't say it.
You get a scalp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you use the word scalp? No.
No.
Slap, yeah.
Now another thing he warned us about my father. He said, don't ever let me hear ye cursing, taking the name of God in vain. He said, if you do, you'll always remember it. We never did, of course. Done behind his back, all right, but we never did it in front of him. What he ate? Oh.
She getting some bread, is she?
It's almost lunchtime now. I got your lunch almost ready.
Okay.
We call that a day, will we?
Okay, bye.
Go on in there.
Yes, now I just love that. They don't curse them. When we go out there, there'll be nothing but a string of oaths. And they would. I'm telling you one thing. If you cursed over right them, that you remember,
Yeah, yeah.
that you wouldn't, you wouldn't curse over them anymore.
You go on, I'll follow you.
Now that's a nice little tree there, look. See how shiny he is for this time of the year?
Yeah.
Little bush.
Yeah.
This old coal mine was there a long time.
Yeah.
I'll try to put a new one there.
da da dee 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 da dee 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 da dee da dee dee da dee 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 dum dee da dee da dee da dee da 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 dee dee da dee da 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 dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee da dee dee da dee 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 dum dee da dee dee da dee dee da 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 dee da